You just inherited money. Here is what not to do first. You've probably heard some version of the statistic that 70% of inherited wealth is gone by the second generation. It gets repeated constantly in the financial industry. There's just one problem. As a scientist, I have to be honest with you that number traces back to a single study of manufacturing businesses in Illinois in the 1980s. And a 2022 peer-reviewed analysis concluded that it had no solid empirical foundation. The financial industry has been citing it for decades anyway. Here's what we do know for certain. We are in the middle of the largest wealth transfer in American history. Over 100 trillion will pass between generations by 2048. And the decisions made in the first 90 days after an inheritance are among the most consequential financial decisions a family will ever face. You deserve accurate information, not a recycled statistic. Now, the first mistake is acting before you understand what you actually have. An inheritance can come in lots of forms. Cash is straightforward, but if you inherited an IRA, a brokerage account, real estate, or a trust, each one carries completely different tax rules and timelines. Pull the cash out of an inherited IRA the wrong way, and you could lose a significant chunk to taxes before you invest a single dollar. The asset type determines the strategy, and you want to diagnose before treatment every time. The second mistake is making a financial decision while grieving. This one's uncomfortable to say, but it holds up under scrutiny. Most inheritances arrive during one of the most emotionally difficult periods of a person's life. Your judgment is affected whether you feel it or not. The right move is often to park the asset someplace safe, a high-yield account or a money market fund, and give yourself a deliberate waiting period before doing anything else. In research, we call this controlling for confounding variables. And in this case, the variable is grief. The third mistake is telling people about it. Sudden wealth attracts attention, and not all of it is well-meaning. Investment scams and high-pressure, unsolicited advice are among the most well-documented pitfalls for people who've recently come into money. If someone approaches you with an opportunity that feels urgent or too good to be true, that is your signal to slow down, not speed up. Be quiet and be deliberate. So what should you actually do first? Build a coordinated team before making a single move. A fiduciary financial advisor, a CPA who understands inheritance tax, and depending on the size of the estate, an estate attorney. If you're in a state that has a state estate tax, like where I reside in Washington state, this matters even more. State estate tax often kicks in at a much lower threshold than the federal level, and new legislation is significantly shifting the rules for anyone managing substantial wealth. Now, I started this video by correcting a bad statistic. That's intentional. My job isn't to scare you into action with numbers that don't hold up. It's to give you accurate information so that you can make the best decision for your family. That's what evidence-based planning actually looks like. If you're navigating an inheritance right now and want a second set of eyes before you make any moves, follow the links below to get on my calendar for a no-pressure 30-minute conversation. I'm Dr. Brock Benyon with Kimball Creek Partners, and until next time, make it meaningful.